Hello there, and today is the birthday of the seventh actor to portray the Doctor on Doctor Who, and that's Sylvester McCoy. Now, that figure came with the 11 Doctors action figure set. I wish he had a hat with him, but that's pretty superficial of me. Anyway, the seventh Doctor was actually the last uh, Doctor to be portrayed in the original television run of Doctor Who on BBC, which ended at the end of 1989. And of course, he got to come back in 1996 to do a regeneration with Paul McGann, who played the Eighth Doctor in that one-off Fox television movie, and we all know about that. But interestingly enough, when I was younger and before I knew about regeneration or any of the other doctors outside of Tom Baker and Peter Davison, I knew this guy's face. He was all over Starlog magazine. I just didn't know his name. Now I do. And he played the Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, that is, from 1987 to 1989, of course. And now I have seen all of the stories featuring McCoy, but I only actually own 6 on DVD, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. Sorry about that little delay there and that blur, because I have this on a webcam, actually. This is the first story to feature Sylvester McCoy, and let me bring you a little bit closer into there. It's called Time and the Ronnie. Now, this gets on a lot of people's list of their very least favorite Doctor Who episodes. I love it. It's colorful, and it's a really good moralistic tale. The Ronnie here actually gets a chance to switch over with Mel. Bonnie Langford just had a birthday last month. There's a picture of the Ronnie, as played by Kate O'Mara, pretending to be Mel, confusing the Doctor. Actually, Sylvester McCoy had to wear a blonde wig in the beginning of this story as regenerated Sixth Doctor because Colin Baker had already been fired. This was written by Pip and Jane Baker. I don't really know why this episode gets a lot of a bad rap. Here's the inside of the DVD. Sylvester McCoy, To Entertain logo. The next story I have is Dragonfire. And this is a transitional story because it features the transition from Bonnie Langford's Melanie Bush to Ace, as played by Sophie Aldred. And this is the introduction story for Ace. I actually got this brand new last year, day it came out. Open it up. No To Entertain logo. The picture of the Eighth Doctor. Here's some pictures from that story. Now, this story features the return of Sabalom Glitz from the Trial of a Time Lord. And I won't ruin any of that for any of you Whovians who have by some chance given this episode the slip. But as Riversong would say in modern times, spoilers, Whovians. Anyway, here's Remembrance of the Daleks. I'm going to have to revisit this one. This is considered probably one of the greatest Doctor Who, at least the greatest Doctor Who Dalek stories ever made. And this was the first Sylvester McCoy story I bought. Now, it's the original BBC copy, BBC video. I actually like that cover. This was, I believe, for the 25th anniversary of Doctor Who. And they actually returned to the Totter's Lane junkyard in the same area where they went to in An Unearthly Child and faced down the Daleks. This is a very special story. It features the return of the Dalek Emperor and Davros. There's the inside of the DVD. Warner Brothers logo this time. But this is my first edition. I haven't got the special edition yet, but I might, Now, this is one of my favorites, actually. That character is called LNA, and they painted the TARDIS red in this episode. And it's called the Happiness Patrol. And the Happiness Patrol is basically a story about forced merriment. I'm not going to give it away for you, but it's a very surrealistic story. Basically, Brave New World meets Willy Wonka. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's got a lot of really grim, dark kind of humor in it, and it's funky. It's a really funky episode. They got this blues playing mouth harpist, harmonica player in here. It's pretty cool. I love that. Here's the inside of that DVD. One of my favorites, I think a very underrated episode, The Happiness Patrol. The greatest show in the galaxy. Actually, a very similar kind of story, kind of with black, humor in it, as it were. This involves more of a circus situation. Is it me, or does the ringmaster in this episode who raps look a little bit like Barack Obama? Anybody? I think Barack Obama's a good guy, but this guy is sort of torn. But this is a story that, well, you just have to see to believe. Some of the Sylvester McCoy stories, are rather dark and odd, and I kind of wish they had gone on because it was a very surreal period for Doctor Who. Here's the inside of that DVD. Around this time, rather than featuring a melange of production stills, they actually used paintings on here. Later in 2012, they started using paintings. Here's an original Doctor Who DVD from the early days, Ghostlight. This is from the last season of the show. This is a very complicated and surreal story, but I love it. I think if you watch this, you'll get a lot more from it. This version you're seeing now is actually out of print, and they're going to be releasing it very soon as a special edition. There's the inside of the DVD. There's clips from that episode now. This actually returns Ace to her home. And the interesting part of this era of the show is that when they returned Ace home, they actually started to have stories that seemed to be contrived to help Ace to realize who she was. But that's in another story that's not featured here. But those are the 6 Sylvester McCoy stories I bought. And I wanted to say a wonderful happy birthday to him. And Sophie Aldred, Ace's birthday is coming up this month too. So happy birthday, Sly McCoy, and happy birthday, Sophie.